got 5 minutes. Woo!
I wanted to. No, I did some. Hi guys, welcome to the Form First podcast. It's, number 22. Joe Militello and myself. Today we're going to talk a little bit about heart rate. You know, I posted something a while ago about resting heart rate and kind of wanted to get your feedback as to, you know, if you're wearing a wearable, what type of wearable do you use? How many calories do you burn per workout during site-based training? How high your heart rate gets? You right?
It's really high right now.
And the reason why I did it is because...
Real quick,
yeah.
Before you get into this, I might just derail your whole thing.
That's fine.
Hopefully you have notes. What kind of body wash do you use?
I just bought some yesterday. Dove.
So like, do you actively like go out and buy Dove?
No, not intentionally, no.
That's just what you bought? Mm-hmm. So that's how it is, you just buy whatever?
Yeah.
How do you determine what you want to pick?
Smell.
Smell.
I'll lift it up and smell it.
The only reason I'm asking is I have a bunch under my sink, and the one I had ran out. So I went to get a new one, and it's Axe.
Okay.
And I just feel like I'm way too old to be using Axe body wash.
It's potent stuff.
Yeah, right. I feel like I feel like I should be like getting ready to go to a foam party instead of being like an adult.
Especially with their commercials too.
Yeah, and someone's gonna smell me, and it's just so I just. I don't know why I just thought
good
that.
Way to start. No, I had a buddy of mine who, I didn't forget the body wash in the shower, would like douse himself in Axe body spray just to...
I actually have a spray over there, just for when I'm like gonna leave here without a shower or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting.
Right.
I mean, I'd rather smell like garbage than that. But
yeah. So
anyway, I'm sorry.
No, I just picked out Dove, and I think I've been using that anyway. So the reason why we were asking people about their resting heart rate and that kind of stuff is because I wanted to see, for Joe, you're training for a triathlon, right? Or a few of them?
Yeah, a couple of them.
What's in your mouth?
Coffee Rio. I don't know why I'm yelling. We don't need to act. You just gave this to me.
I just gave it to him. I told him to try it. It's something from Trader Joe's. I gave to my mom for Mother's Day because she likes coffee. I like coffee.
She must.
I thought you did too, so I thought you'd like it. But
just really appreciated that.
Yeah, she disowned me now.
It's not good.
So you're doing triathlons, and you're telling me about like you're having some issues trying to get your heart rate up during your bike.
Well, yeah. I mean, wasn't necessarily an issue. I was just noticing when I was wearing the monitor here versus wearing it on my bike, I wasn't even coming close to like a max. Like my maxes weren't the same, but my effort was the same. Like
I was more on the bike. Right?
Yeah, I was on the bike doing as much as I could, and I couldn't get up to this because I was given I don't really what's the word like do like traditional training for these things. Like usually they'll put programs together and have you do a swim workout, a bike workout, and a run workout. And they put it out week by week, you know, and they get progressively harder, longer, blah, 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 blah.
Is this by like the people hosting it? Or?
No, I mean, you can get them anywhere. I have an old book my buddy gave me that gives you like a 12-week program, or if you want to be more advanced, it goes out more. He actually has a trainer, so what I do is I just steal his workouts. He just sends them to me. So this bike workout he sent me was based on heart rate zones in intervals, you know. Right. So you were going, I think it was 2 minutes in zone 2, and then you go 5 minutes. I think it's five zones. I think I got to 5 on Sunday or today here for like 13 seconds.
Okay.
But anyway, the workout is 2 minutes in zone 2, 5 minutes in zone 4.
Oh wow.
Okay. And you do that 5 times with a 10-minute warm-up and 20-minute cool-down, whatever. So when I was doing it, I think I texted you right before I was about to start. When I was doing it, I'm at the highest gear, going as hard as my body will let me. And I wasn't even coming close to zone 4.
Right.
And in that, in terms of heart rate, was about like 135 to 143. It was
Okay.
like the super peak. And we had my peaks here have been well over 165 consistently, you know. So that's where it wasn't anything bad. It was just I couldn't do the workout.
Right. Well, I mean, there's so many variables when it goes into, you know, either resting heart rate and trying to figure out your, you know, maximal heart rate and stuff. But the first thing I would say is that whatever zones that they're, you know, calibrating for you, telling you what you should hit and kind of maintain, it's going to be based on the 220 minus your age, probably. I mean, that's kind of like the old, outdated model. 220 minus your age to find your max heart rate. And then they're probably just coming up with some kind of, like, maybe if it's 70%, 80%, whatever, but it's not taking into account how fit you are. I mean, I don't know if your friend, if the trainer who was kind of with him figured out everything based on his heart rate.
Right. It probably has to do with the actual person, one, and then what their zones, what he's basing those zones on,
Right.
versus what my Garmin has already made for me.
Right.
So probably something where they want me maintaining, but see, it still doesn't make sense though, because I can get to 4 here. So it's not like 4 is impossible. It just seems
that's the
impossible on
question
the
mark.
bike. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I definitely can get up there. So I told you I was gonna. I tried to sing.
Yeah, did you get out of that?
I got it up a little more.
Could you record yourself while you do that?
It's not good. But I could see it going up, but it was not sustainable. I mean, I got up to maybe like 3.7.
Okay.
And I'm supposed to be consistently in 4 for 5 minutes, and I'm dying just to stay at 3.7. So I mean, it's crazy. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Right, and so you wear a chest strap.
Yeah, they call it a bra.
They call it a bra.
Well,
really?
people here when I put it on, they call it.
I mean, I used to wear one all the time working out here. Not here, it was, you know, before we moved here. But
I have really short shorts on. My thighs are short.
so yeah, I don't really know why it's so difficult for you to, you know, get that heart rate spike so much on the bike.
It's going crazy right now.
So, but you're able to do it during siphon. So what I think is, you know, you told me that your max heart rate is 169 when you're here.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's got to be close to your ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, I've never got it above 170, and I know a couple other people that have been tracking it recently.
Yeah.
And they'll get over 170 into 180s and 190 sometime. And there's been times where I'm dead, like giving it everything, and it's not touching 170.
So like, let's say you're, it's just like safe scores. Like,
Right.
If your 700 is somebody else's, you know, 600 or 900, and same thing with your 169. Well, your 169, your heart's racing, and that could be somebody else's 180 or 185. You know what I mean? So I feel like what would be wiser, and when you're talking about the zones, the 4 through 5, is that Garmin zones or is that?
Yeah, Garmin has zones, and I think they might have descriptions for them, and they kind of shame you after a workout, telling you.
We should say that we put together some numbers, and whatever we kind of go over, it has nothing to do, like, it's not like an actual review of Garmin or Fitbit or Apple. It's just, we just took a small sample size and we're just looking at some goofy numbers. Lawyer. Gotta be smart.
Yeah, so today I was in, I had a 2.9 training effect, they call it, which was I maintained my cardio respiratory fitness with this activity.
Okay. That's like a blanket.
Well, it's kind of telling me I didn't do anything.
Yeah, 2.9 out of
5.
Out of 5.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really so there's the zones I was in.
Okay.
According to them.
Okay.
That was today. But then, and this was a weird workout because it was a high slope.
Yeah.
You know, it was in a. I mean, really, our heart rates really didn't get going.
No.
Me and Michelle were tracking it throughout the workout today, and we were averaging like one teens up until it didn't get going until Vexum, and that was real deep in the workout.
Yeah, that's when I felt it too.
But if I went to the last time I wore this, so I forgot it on Sunday, so I basically didn't work out. But then I wore it Saturday. Saturday was this dumb hike day.
Dumb hike day. A lot of people like that one though.
That I got up to 169 there, and what did it tell me I did? See, in that one I was at 4.6.
4.6. Wow.
which is
For doing hikes, I don't know. I mean, I don't.
I think
really
it knows I can't do hikes. I think that's what it is. So this says, way to go. You should see a significant increase in your cardio. Am I saying that right? Cardiorespiratory fitness.
Yeah.
Thanks to this difficult aerobic activity.
See, then it's also got to be keeping track of like all your movements because.
And so then I was in zone 4 pretty much the entire time.
Wow.
Which I'd say zone 4 is. And see, I did get up to 5 for 32 seconds.
So, can you tell me what your average heart rate was during this workout?
157.
And what was the other one?
From today was average. Today was 1. See how I said 1? I knew it was in the hundreds. 36.
So it's got to be taking just what your average is across the board, and then comparing it to whatever your adjusted heart rate max is. So it thinks that you're not working that hard because your heart rate was only registering so much for so long. But that doesn't. It's neither here nor there.
I mean, I'm not taking it and then like getting discouraged or. I mean, I know what I did.
Not really. Yeah.
It was mainly just trying to understand how I can't get it up doing certain things.
That's
not certain things. Riding a bike. I mean, it get it up.
Yeah, and you said that before. It's like, oh, man.
My heart rate goes up when I'm running, completely fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then that turned those 3 numbers I sent.
Yeah.
Turned into all this. Yeah.
And so I asked people on Facebook to give us their age, their resting heart rate, their max heart rate when they do Cyphus, how many calories they typically burn during Cyphus, and their scores. And I just threw it into a spreadsheet, and again, it's such a small sample size, but there were some things that popped out to me. And specifically when people were wearing an Apple Watch, they were registering max heart rates that were higher than what's typically accepted as a max heart rate. So usually they take the 220 minus your age. If you just have that alone, people who were 47 years old are hitting 191 beats per minute. You look at someone who's 42, they're hitting 175, 188. That would mean it's not technically possible. But if you were to do like a little bit of research, and I haven't done a lot, but a little bit of research in the 220 minus your age model, that's kind of outdated because you do need to consider someone's resting heart rate,
sure,
their fitness level. I don't really think that someone's age is really that important, because same thing with Cyphus. I mean, someone could be in extremely good shape.
Well, I mean, you can just look at the ages here versus the resting. There's no correlation with younger, older. I mean, they're all. I mean, I'm sure someone with more knowledge can look at this and probably give you a very basic health assessment of all these people.
Oh, you could, yeah. And you know what? Probably the 220 minus your age. I didn't look back in the history of it, but it was probably not considering people that are healthy, fit individuals that are working out all the time. It was probably just to try to figure out someone's typical resting heart rate if you just want to get a ballpark average. So, like, the last I checked, I think like the average resting heart rate for Americans, I think it's 77. That's what it was, I think, at one point in time. But that's, majority of the population's not working out.
And there's not one person that gave you info that is at 70.
No, not 70.
So you would think they're below average, but they're actually above average.
I know what you're saying. So what's interesting to me, and I've always said this to people before, is they want to know how many calories they burn in Cyphus. I almost always tell them, like, whatever you score in Cyphus, you're pretty close to that.
Sure.
And I know that's not a hard and fast rule, but it's got to be pretty close.
It's got to be. Yeah. I always take my half-hour race pace, and whatever this would tell me.
Yeah.
I would double it, and that's what I would consider.
Okay.
What I burn here.
Huh.
That's just because I'm saying equal effort there.
Yeah.
That's why I said race pace, running for 30 minutes versus going here for an hour. I can't imagine it's less than what I would run 30 minutes, but there's times where this isn't always catching everything you do out here, so it's hard to get a calorie burn. That's where I think the Apple Watch Again, we're not
Yeah.
CNET.
Right.
I think the Apple Watch actually might be more accurate for that.
You're saying GPS type?
For calorie wise, I think it's more accurate than the numbers I've seen with Garmin.
So that's what's weird though. Like
Yeah.
so the heart rate is obviously higher with the Apple Watch, but it's not really affecting the calories that I noticed. So that means that they do have some kind of factor in there
Sure.
that they're counting and factoring in.
I mean, they all got to be using the same sort of
Base
mathematics.
Yeah. But you think they're pulling all this data that they got to be crunching it and making it finer and finer, but it's still.
And that's where you would think Garmin would be more detailed. That key's wrong. More detailed than Apple, just because that's all Garmin's
That's what they
doing.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe where some of them are going wrong, and maybe they're not doing this, but they're just being stuck on 220 minus. Like, where does that come
Right.
from? It's almost like you need to find the person's highest heart rate that they've ever not registered, but like consistently registered, and then go based on that. And I mean, it would be great. We got 30 people here. You have everybody in Cypress linked up to their heart rate, and we're tracking all that and have it correlated with their score. I mean, that's kind of the goal. It'd be nice, but you think with everyone wearing wearables nowadays that they would come up with something a little bit more accurate. So what I was doing was I was comparing people's max heart rate in comparison to this new little formula that's not very scientific, but if doing that, we can keep people's heart rates, their max heart rates underneath what the new formula's max heart rate is, and this is confusing people, so I'm not even going to go too into depth with it.
I think for an hour workout, I think the average heart rate is telling as well, because
Yeah, we need that.
like I said today, when we started, 3 pushes in a row is what really spiked it, and then the rest of the workout was slower, if you will, and then so that made the average a lower average, and an average of 150 plus is incredible for an hour. It's incredible.
No, that is just it. Like I've had people, like I had a trainer come in here the other day, and he signed up for a first time Groupon. And so he was kind of like asking me things from like a trainer's point of view. So he's like, so this is functional training and it's high intensity, and he was trying to like understand what it was, like from a traditional trainer's standpoint. And I'm trying to explain to him like this is not anything you've read in your ACE certification manual. It's nothing I learned in college about training. It's something completely different. And so I try to explain it. It's like steady state, high intensity. You're maintaining that heart rate at a high level the entire time, and you allow it to come down every now and then. But it really is, it's just pushing the envelope. I think conventional wisdom would tell you, like that this is not the way to work out.
Right.
Honestly, but.
Well, I mean, I have some numbers for my training over the years. Mm-hmm. So when I let's see, I did this. I've done the same triathlon for 4, 5, 6, 7. So this will be the 5th year I'm doing the Anchor Bay one.
Okay.
So in 14 and 15, I was here maybe a total of, I don't know, call it 70 times throughout. I think it was, 70 total. And then I was doing swimming, biking, and running, but not a ton, but enough. I mean, I'm not a strong swimmer, and I kind of just do that a couple times and then just pray to get out of the water, and then I'll make it up on the run. And so from 15 to 16, I was here a lot. I was here, I think, 215 times in 16. Coupled that with riding the bike a little bit, a little swimming, and then running, but not a ton.
Yeah.
And I cut off 10 minutes from 1 year, and I was mainly here.
Yeah.
Last year, I just did a couple just to do them.
Yeah.
I had no goals for them. I was just signing up just to have something to do, and I really didn't I think I rode my bike like 3 times. I had a couple run races before, so that I said took care of the running. I swam, a couple times in the pool in Florida. But then I was here again, another, 200 plus times.
Yeah.
And I from so that would be 17 to 15. I took off 15 minutes. From 16 to 17, 5 minutes.
Wow.
And that was mainly just doing here.
That's crazy.
So that said, I'm like, all right, now this year I actually want to
Train?
I want
Train
to
hand cyphus?
Yeah, but I want to put more focus on the 3 disciplines. I mean, I can only swim so much. I mean, I don't have a pool. I can go to the gym, I guess. My friend has a pool.
Yeah.
And I have like a little
He has
like
a pool,
apparatus.
like a...
No, he has a pool, but I have this apparatus that you put on your waist, tie it to the ladder, and you just end up swimming in place.
Huh.
So I'll do that. But I've biked more in May 18 than I did all of 2017.
Wow.
And I did 3 triathlons last year. And I've already biked more this year, this
crazy,
month.
yeah.
So I'm hoping to see some sort of translation in those numbers.
Yeah. Like what if you didn't do better? It was just,
well, that's the other thing too. It's like it doesn't mean you're not supposed to. Well, this is what I read. You're not supposed to judge a race from one year to the next. Everything. Yeah. It's always different.
Yeah. I just like the fact that you said like, well, this is what I read. So many people take what they read as like, this is it, this is true. You know what I mean?
Right, well, I know. I mean, that's the only place I got it from.
But you're aware of it. Yeah. You're like, this is what I read somewhere.
But I mean, it does. The philosophy does make sense.
Yeah.
Because, for example, the marathons downtown, 3 years ago it was awesome weather.
Oh, that's
and then 2 years ago it was miserable. It's not the same race. It is not the same race at all.
Slapped. I mean, there's so many factors to anything and everything.
So this is me talking right now on camera saying that I won't get discouraged or I have I'm so woke and have peace of mind. If I don't do as good, of course I'm going to be pissed. You know what I mean?
That's only I know you well enough to know.
But I would like to see. I see certain areas where I can make not significant changes, but enough that it's going to matter. Little things in 2-3 minutes matter. And I'm actually moving up in a age group this year. So I'm old, but I'm in for males. I think I'm in one of the most competitive categories now. But I'll be the young guy in there, so I don't know how that's going to work. Yeah. But 2-3 minutes is a huge deal once you start competing against more people. Yeah. So I would like to shave 3-4 minutes off my bike, which I think I can do with actually training on a bike. And then I have a tendency on my runs I always start fast. My second mile always sucks. And then I'll finish strong. And I see a pattern all the time. So
how far are you running and how long?
So I'm doing sprint triathlon. So it's a half-mile swim, depending on where you're at. A little more, a little less.
But your runs?
The runs, it's 5K.
But what are you doing, like training? Is it always a 5K too? Or no?
Oh, training?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
about. Well, it should be more, but it's literally all I'm doing is 5Ks. And I should be doing more. But I'm just lazy, and I have a perfect loop that goes around and right back to my house. I'm like, I don't want to do anymore. I know I need to. Yeah. And that's why last year when I had a half marathon beforehand, I had to run more.
Yeah. When you're running that far, you do have to run.
These I need to start running more so that I can implement different sort of runs instead of just running as fast as I can in a circle. But I think it's mental too. I go out after the bike and I'm fatigued, but I'm telling myself I'm not fatigued. And then it seems like I did a good mile, and then like I just like relax. And I think when I'm relaxed, I ease up, and I don't need to, but I just mentally do. So that's what I've been focusing on is running negative splits.
Negative splits is huge.
That's what I've been doing.
Anytime I've done type of race, like that's what I try to do, and I try to really go out slower and not get caught up, because I think you that you can build on that energy. Like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm feeling good. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep pushing it. And it's huge. But
Yeah, because I think if I just went out a little slower, which I'm gonna even try not to do, but if I did, and then I had a negative split from 2 to 1, mentally, I would feel much better than when I see a plus, you know, as at second mile. It messes with my head. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, because I do it every single time. So I don't know if it's just my body telling me to stop or whatever. But so those two things are what I'm really focusing on. And then I should actually swim at some point. But.
yeah, you can pay me to swim, but
I can't swim.
So I got 2 follow-up questions. Just as you were saying all that, things just popped in my head. One is, if you're trying to train on the bike and you're trying to hit these zones for 2 minutes and then 5, 2 and then 5, have you ever thought about doing Cyphus, trying to hit those zones for that time? Because
it's too much of trying to do this. I don't really look at this too much when I'm here.
Right.
I like to look at the info after the fact.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, throw your regular day of Cyphus out the window. You're instead of doing the bike, you're going to do this, and you're strictly going to pay attention to that. I mean, I would think that it would help you cardiovascular wise achieve what it is they want you to do.
I mean, I just don't know. It would have to be like a really cardio, you know, like a body weight workout where.
Don't you think you could free float it and just like? You know,
I mean, I could.
I'm just going to do Cyphus and I'm going to keep it up at a certain height.
Yeah, but that would mean, you know, plus runs they couldn't be Tarzans, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no.
That's all.
No.
So if I had a bunch of plus runs, a bunch of pushes, I think that would be something cool to do.
Yeah. Because I think you could still attain and still do that, like interval training and specific based on your heart rate, and you could still hit those numbers that they were asking you to hit.
Yeah, I think it's not even necessarily the end all is getting in those zones just for your heart. I think it's actually the motion on the bike, and muscle memory and things like that. And I think I was telling you this the other day. It's so funny. I have a sliding door in the room where I ride the bike, and so if I look down, my feet looks like I'm not even moving. You know, and I'm going. Pretty fast. Yeah. But then you look in the glass, and it look like a cartoon. You know, it's
you
hilarious.
Some kind of resistance on that, like more so than you already have.
I mean, I got the gears as high as I can go. I mean, I have what's it called? A stationary trainer I could use, but I just would rather train on the bike I'm going to use in a race. You know.
Yeah. So you mentioned when you're doing, whether it's a triathlon or a 5K or whatever, and you see that you're running like a positive split and it screws with your head.
Yeah.
How would it screw with your head if you were doing Cyphus and you were wearing a wearable and you could get that kind of feedback to like, okay, I'm behind my score.
I mean, I don't need it. It's math.
Well, you can
do it. Yeah, you can do it.
But like to the task,
it's not good.
No,
it's not good. It happens, and it's frustrating because then other things start going through your head. Here, though, when that happens, to me, what goes through my head is this might be super egotistical, but it just means the workout was harder than I had planned on it being.
Yeah.
I never blame myself. I'm kidding in that aspect a little bit, but I mean that's what goes through my head right away.
To that, though, because what you're comparing it to is just like in your head all the averages over time, but really it's like, okay, if you're on task 30 and prior to that could have been like a slope of 50 and then everything coming later, which on a workout like that you're probably scoring higher. But that's what most people don't realize, like, okay, it's halfway, I should be halfway what my boulder is. No, that's not always like that. You know, it's if you're someone who finishes the workouts regularly, then you maybe have a better idea of like where you're supposed to be.
Sure.
But if you're someone who scores 600, it doesn't mean you should be 300 halfway through. It's not that.
Yeah. When I'm going first thing in the morning, I have an area I want to get to. Yeah. So theoretically, I know where I should be at the halfway point as well. And there's definitely times where there's 30 minutes in and you know there's zero chance you're getting where you thought.
Right.
And then, but see, that's where it's kind of shitty because then that's messing with your head the whole time now. And I don't like. I'm saying me. It's messing with my,
used to. Yeah.
But then the other thing is when you are able to watch someone, and then you have markers.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to them.
That's more defeating, I think. Because you're like, oh man, I totally should be there right now. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's not should. It's I always have wants.
Well,
because I'm not.
Depends.
Yeah. But the worst is when you're actually ahead. If you like mark, let's say 22 minutes or 33 minutes,
and they end up.
Well, and then so like 33, I'm like 5 minutes ahead here, and then when it's all said and done, they beat you, and you go back and you're like, what did I do? Where did this? And then it's fun to go back and see like, oh well, that took me way longer than it took them.
There will be times too where like I'll look at like the morning classes, like the scores. I won't have like seen anybody go, but I'll come in like the later morning. And, if they're scoring 800 and I'll get to like, I'll get further than I would think I would be halfway. I'm like, man, I'm on a good pace. And in my head, I'm like, all right, something's going to come up here that's going to really slow me down. I don't know where it is, but like, so like there's kind of that way too. If you're going faster and you kind of know like, okay, if I'm usually scoring whatever it is, I'm probably going to hit something here that it's not sticking out at me. We used to back 7 years ago, we used to all wear heart rate monitors. And the reason why I had people wearing heart rate is because, again, I was saying this is so unconventional that I wasn't sure that everybody should have their heart rate so high for so long. So
it's like quick too.
Oh, it is.
It's a quick.
Yeah. And so what I wanted to do is make sure like everyone was like kind of okay and in the right zone. Sure. So we were using the polar solution that like same thing Orange Theory is using now, but it didn't give us any calories burned or anything like that. We were essentially beta testing their stuff. But I found it detracting from the workout when I kept not having to look, but would be like, okay, I'm in the red right now, and my heart rate's really high, so should I let it come down? When people wouldn't push themselves to that certain point, like some of these people here that are scoring, or their heart rate's getting up to 191. Somebody else was 201, and he's 201, and he's 50 years old. I mean,
it's incredible.
Whoever is scoring, 190 or whatever, they're probably thinking. If they saw it, like, oh shoot, my heart rate's really high. If you saw that,
right?
But it's all relative. So maybe your heart rate can get that high, and you can still hold a conversation.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. So that's where looking would be a detriment.
Yeah.
Because if you did see it, you'd freak out.
Yeah.
But then you look at it after, like, oh crap, I was 190 for almost 5 minutes or something. Like that's pretty cool. Like I would never even think I could do that.
Right. So when I was doing it back when I used to wear a heart rate monitor, I would just look at it when my heart rate got really high, and I would just see like what that was. So that way, if I got close to it, then that helped. I'd be like, okay, I'm at 155. I don't want to get to 167, which is what it was back then. I didn't want to get to 167, or else I'm going to be out of breath.
I can't remember what it was.
So I've got two things that I wanted to go over. One, today's workout, and you brought it up when I was coming in. The last class when they were doing the workout, I kind of assisted them. So today was abscess. It was the first time we did it. It was like, what, 2 shrinking mountains essentially stacked up on top of each other. So you would remove tasks as you went through the checklist each time. So just to help them out, I was erasing the tasks. So I erased all the A's once they finished it, so they didn't have to see it again and figure out where to go. So I was making it easier for them. And I was thinking, let's do the opposite of that for a workout. So you have all the D's, people finish the D's, and you write up the A's is the first, or the C's is the first person gets to it. So that way the workout's actually revealing itself as the first person's doing it each time.
Yeah.
But then you got to be prepared for that person. And I was thinking score-wise, you got to put it in the
You'd
system.
have to have 2 people here.
Yeah, you would.
You'd have
I've
to.
done it before where it's, and this is back in Point Fitness days, where I had like a board for each one, but each circuit, and I would flip it over.
Oh, sure.
Once they got to it.
Or you could do
So
like you could have it taped.
Yeah.
Like reveal like Wheel of Fortune.
You could do that. I mean, that would be the simple way to do
Or
it.
the first person done would have to go over and rip it off
See, I would like a workout like that, but then you couldn't post to the task list, but just something where you,
Yeah, right.
you don't really know what you're doing until you're doing it, so people are like holding something back for the gesture or whatever the hard.
Let's work on this. I think we can put something together for this.
Speaking of that, that sorry idea
Yeah.
was a great idea. Well, I mean, he told you it. I didn't really hear all of it.
Yeah. So Brandon has an idea. I mean, it's really just the one thing that's what I was talking to him about that day. Basically, it's Mad Hatter-esque. So I guess we'd have 4 circuits or whatever. After each circuit, you go pull a ticket out of a hat or the trophy, whatever the hell.
We
it
should
was.
roll a dice or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna have A, B, C, or D. So however you want to get there. But one of the options would be to trade spots with someone. So we were saying that the workout would be, getting your 30-day, but
You definitely want to get something that's ahead of you, because that way you don't have to do the 3 tasks.
Sure, yeah.
And you got to make them do it.
But yeah, exactly. But then that's the thing. Then we got to have other options. So the switching would be the one option, but then we would need other things too. But I think it'd be fun. It's just something fun. We just have to make sure that the workout is super long, because if someone keeps
matter. No, it depends on how many times you pull.
If you keep going, so how about this? So you get it.
Yeah.
And you go in front of me, and I switch spots with you, and you're way behind me. So now I got to start over all again. And then now we go pick, and it's the opposite. So then we just switch right back.
So it's the same workout.
Yeah.
I would just be worried about the person who gets, all right, forward lunges. They got to do forward lunges again 10 times.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna be like, screw this, But
it's just it would be a fun thing. Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah.
And we could make the workout.
Those choosing options, like 10 deep, so you can have something different to do. But no, we're always thinking of something different, and I think that's kind of a cool way to just try something. So now this question, we could edit it out of it if we wanted to or not, but so we've got a lot of new people coming in, a lot of brand new, fresh faces. Some people have been here for a month, a few months. We talk about when does it start clicking for the newbie? When do we see the light bulb go on? When do they start retaining some of this stuff? I've always said, around the 60 workout mark. I don't know why I've come up with that, but 60s, it seems like that person's going to be self-sufficient and not going to need so much help. You and I and other trainers have talked about not spoon feeding. At what point in time in your head do you think a newbie's not necessarily a newbie anymore? Because there are those people who have maybe been doing it for a couple weeks, and we get the people who are in the first couple weeks, we really give them a lot of attention. We break it down very simple. But then there's that time where you're like, all right, out of the nest, go. What time is that for you?
So I've been noticing with so many new people all at once, you kind of have to just tell them what's up next or whatever.
Yeah.
So when you have the time to not have to deal with 9 people all at the in the same
level.
Yeah. What I would say is around like 30, you start, instead of asking what is venom, they give an example of what they think it is.
Oh.
Whereas early on they just ask what it was.
Right.
When they start using bare hands, or is it a push, then you know, and then it becomes, you can just give them, once you can just give them cues, then they're good. And then the one group that we've had, I mean, they're pretty, not self-sufficient, but they're not, they don't need a ton of help, and they haven't had 60 workouts yet.
That's true. One thing I've been doing is, I know full well what the task it is that they're on. Some people will just kind of be like, what task am I on? They'll point at the board, or they'll be like, what one is this one? I'll ask them. I'll be like, what one is it? Because I want them to at least try to pronounce it. Because if you don't know what it is, or don't know what it sounds like, you may not retain it. One of the things I noticed too, though, is if there's a couple of people that you really do, I don't want to say coddle, but you're there to show them everything, and especially if they were kind of like more so one-on-one in the beginning, they're going to expect that attention. So now you've got 2 newbies. Like today I had 2 brand new people I'm teaching them, and this person was like, well, where's Mike? Where's Mike? You know, well, he or she's got to know that, all right, we're teaching the new crew. So it's not a bad thing. It's just one of those things that you want them to be self-sufficient. It's like raising a kid. You want them to be able to live on their own and that kind of thing. So you eventually got to cut them off.
Yeah, that's what I was saying the other day. It's like if I keep like telling you what to do when you're walking back, you're never gonna be able to get it because I know where you're at. You might not even know where you're at sometimes, and that's just it's counterproductive for a situation like you just said.
You're never gonna lead if you're always following or trying to wait for someone to go to know what it is, or waiting for the trainer. So I just thought it was an interesting thing that came across my mind when I was in one of my classes today, where it's like, I don't want the person to feel like they're being like swept, you know, not under the rug, but like getting lost in the mix, when really it's been like, all right, you've been doing this 30 times now. We want you to go out on your own and try to figure it out.
But then you don't want the other thing too, where you don't want them waiting for someone else to get there because they don't want to ask either. You know, it's like, it's no problem to ask. It's just we're not going to tell you before you ask. I think that's what it is. That's what it is.
That is it. And we just did the Chuck It workout where we were focusing on the form, and I would make sure people, again, said the task. I'm like, which one are you on again? And it's just kind of a question thing. And it's interesting to see how quickly
What if that guy picked up?
How quickly people get it. Like, just some people you just need to say like, say it one time and they get it, and it's interesting. And then others you actually have to get down on the ground and just give a demo. But it's nice to see somebody start using the terminology, like I said, bare hands, mogul feet, or what have you. They start getting the lingo
and using it initially. Right from the beginning, and always using the same descriptions and stuff like that help, obviously, because there's so many incestuous things where you can say, take, you know, when you know how you did your hands here and your feet on this one, that's what this is now, and you see it does click.
You're building sentences by like showing them the words, like, all right, mogul feet. We know what mogul feet is. All right, so now we taught you bear crawl and mogul in Initiations Mountain. All right, so now you're going to know how to do Mastodon because you're doing your mogul feet, bear crawl hands. And it's kind of like sowing the seeds of like knowledge of, you know, language. So that way, when we go 10 workouts down the road, we can try to pull that back. But that's why it's important for people to retain it. Same thing with like initiation. When we're explaining initiation, I don't like it when people are not looking at the board the first time. Maybe they're going to come back, maybe they're not, but at least look at the board and try to figure it out, because that's when it's going to be like you're trying to catch up later down the road. That's why it's so important for a pro to be able to articulate, not only show the correct movement, but show and say it at the right time too, or else it's going to be tough to sink in.
Well, I think it's. I think we have to talk about the most important topic of the.
Michelle's pants. I don't even know what it's about, so you're gonna have to.
I know like 10% of it. Michelle bought pants, and she wants us to talk about them.
Are they like?
I'm pretty sure they are. Not Kate Spade. What's that chick's name? Oh, I actually have a beef with you too. She was married to one of the guys from the Black Crowes. Kate.
Up? No. Not Kate Upton. Kate.
Winslet. She was in Titanic.
No, not that. It's Kate. Goldie Hawn's daughter, right?
Yes. Hudson.
I don't know.
Kate Hudson.
Is that it? Okay.
Kate Hudson.
Okay.
I think she does like a little gimmick, like box thing where you pay money and they send you clothes or whatever.
Okay.
I think it's called, I'm not gonna, whatever, Fabletics or something. I'm pretending I don't know. Of course I know.
Oh, so it's like a Lululemon, but like mail order type stuff.
Yeah, it's like a monthly subscription sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that's not where she got these. I'm pretty sure she bought them from someone who already had a subscription. I don't think she has a subscription to this. So she bought
someone else's.
Yeah, I don't want to say they're bootleg because they are real. They're just like used.
Okay.
But they were camo, like pink camo. I think I don't.
And so why does she want us to talk about it?
I don't
Just how
know.
sweet they are?
I guess.
I mean, if you got
Moisture wicking, I think?
If you got a picture of it, well, send it to
No,
me and I'll bake it in the.
Well, I'm sure she'll post a picture of them
Yeah.
now since I gave her time.
Well, the other thing that was asked was what Sad Goose was.
Yes.
Sad Goose is a single-armed Diablo with like mongoose feet and hands, and I saw somebody kind of doing that when they were trying to do. Actually, it was Wicca.
Oh,
So it's
the
Wicca.
camera's on.
What?
Is the camera on?
It's on. Yeah. So they were doing Wicca incorrectly, and so I was trying to make a task out of it, and it just was not going to work. And it was like the day of, and I hadn't set out the demo.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like, I do not want people even trying it, so we just turned it into single-armed Diablo. What's my beef? What's your beef with me?
Oh no, it was a joke. When I was thinking of the Black Crowes, Ellery was saying that you put on a playlist I made and kept skipping all the songs because you didn't like them, and I think a couple of them were the Black Crowes.
Oh, maybe it was. No, I played your play. It was that Wednesday one, or whatever. I
Yeah.
liked that one, but it was. I don't know what songs it were.
There
It
wasn't.
but
There's no skippable songs in that playlist.
It was a little bit too much 90s rock. I mean, I liked
Well,
it.
it was.
I think that was it.
A blend, but yeah, I mean that's. It was,
No, maybe there was one song on there that was a little bit too much. Was screaming? I don't know, but
Oh, maybe.
maybe one because you didn't have much.
Oh, it might have been like a 5-finger Death Punch
It might
like
have
cover or
been.
something. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we're going to a concert this weekend. Coming up.
Yeah,
It's this weekend.
Slayer, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, we're gonna see Train and Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be sweet. That'll be good.
Very excited.
So we'll have to come back on here and tell you how that went. We may actually have a special hidden type podcast.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes. We're gonna have to plan that wisely. But all right, with that, we're gonna end here. That's been the Form First podcast for this week, and tune in next week.